Okay, good morning, everyone. Let's go ahead and start. Grab a bolster or stack a few blankets, a firm pillow, couch cushion, anything of that sort. And we're gonna do full body, also some restorative in there. TC, we will work on those poses for low back. But just come, elevate your hips. We're trying to get the pelvic crest of bones. You can feel the bones in the front of your pelvis above your knees. So however much height you need to get those knees lower. And just a simple cross-legged. And then go ahead and tone and contract those glute muscles. So find the right glute, the left glute, and just tone, contract. I know everybody's getting set up. And then we're going to extend the spine long. So imagine that your spine is reaching through the floor. Again, keeping those glutes contracted. And then extend out the crown of the head. So the crown, if you actually drew a line from the very tip of your ears, where those converge at the top, it's right where my ponytail is. And it's usually further back than you think. So again, really actually draw the line, put a firm pressure point at the tip, that's the crown. We're gonna extend through there. And it's actually really important to put pressure here. It grounds the body. If you're ever feeling like in your head, out of your body, or even yeah, maybe just like having a hard time focusing or concentrating, you really push that pressure point. And it helps ground your body. And that is the place that we actually do headstand from. So we want to work on that alignment in our other poses. So go ahead and roll your shoulders down and back so the inner shoulders rolling down the back towards the floor. And then we're lengthening in both directions and contracting those glute muscles. And that's going to start to make spaciousness in the low spine. So release that spine all the way through. So many times people don't know that they're doing this, but they're contracting in the low spine and compressing. So we want to lower those glutes, lengthen the spine. Good. And just use your imagination, your mind's eye to see if you can track and trace through the entire spine and see if you can start to find that length, that traction throughout every single vertebra. Good. And then reach through your right sit bone, reach through your left sit bone. Roll onto the front edges of your sit bones. And that's going to get us to the inner spine. And then soften that jaw. Oftentimes, again, we hold tension there that we don't realize. So go ahead and just use your fingertips to start massaging all through the jaw, all along that lower cheekbone. And do some firm pressure along that jawline. Yep. And especially right along here, right below the cheekbone, where the top and bottom jaw meet. That's an area where, again, we don't realize that it can be clenched or that we're holding that tension or pressure. And then go ahead and do a circular motion, clockwise circular motion. And that circular motion actually gets into neuro-lymphatic massage. So it's going to release the nervous system, release the lymphatic system. And again, it's just something that we need to do consistent, regular maintenance of. And if you find any tender spots, any tension spots, you can just hold that pressure. And once the jaw starts to release, that's going to be reflected in the nervous system and how we hold ourselves. So good, just hold that pressure. And you might feel it more on one side or the other. Maybe you can feel it more on the right side or more on the left side. Just keep that tension, keep that pressure. And it's kind of amazing, but as you release that jaw, all the other muscles start to lengthen, start to open, and that spine, the neck, actually starts to release and lengthen. And then just go up to the side temples. Gentle pressure, gentle circular motion along the side temple. Releasing. Again, that will actually translate to your neck, your shoulders. Good. And then exhale, just open the jaw wide. As wide as you can. And release. One more time, open wide. You're really actually stretching the jaw, stretching this area. And release, and one more time. Good. Okay, so now that we've opened that up more, go ahead and take those arms, inhale, lengthen, reach to the top of the room with your fingertips. And then inhale that breath 360 degrees. So expand your front chest, your side chest, and your back chest. And really fill up that back lower rib cage. And keep extending out the tip of the head, the crown of the head. Lengthen. Keep softening in the jaw. And then reach your sit bones through the floor and tone those glutes, contract those glute muscles. Inhale, lengthen taller. Again, see if you can release and expand through every single vertebra. Jaw softening, face softening, throat softening, spine strengthening through extension. So those inner spinal muscles will naturally contract and tone by reaching through the top of the head and reaching those glutes and those sit bones towards the floor. And you're going to get a natural inner toning through all of your organs, through your core, through your abdomen. And it's just through that extension, that lengthening. And then exhale those arms down. Good. Okay, so we are gonna work that low back a little bit. We're gonna go into a standing pose. And TC, you can do this standing, or anyone that needs to. I'm gonna set you up just against the wall with your legs against the wall. So you can choose which one you wanna do. But you wanna get those sit bones right against the wall, both of them like you're sitting on the wall. And then the legs come up naturally. And then you can do variations, legs wide, feet together, one leg up. Okay. And also in that, if you're not on your period, if you're not on your moon cycle, then a little bit of elevation is excellent. So again, choose what you need today, whether it's this restorative or we're going to be working at the active standing poses for the legs. So with this one, I just have a little bit of space between the wall and my blanket, and that will vary. You just want enough space for your butt. And then again, you get the two sit bones on the wall, and then there's this little gap between legs are up. And it's a natural heart opener. And again, you'll do the leg variations. But TC, you could stay in this for 10-15 minutes if you need. Softening the belly, relaxing the belly, working on the deep rib breathing. And then again, you're going to work on pressing through the mound of the big toe, the inner heel, the outer edge of the foot. Okay. So get yourself set up and whatever you need. And then if you're doing standing poses with us, grab a mat or a non-slippery surface. We want to have that traction, right? You're going to get the most out of this if you're not slipping, if you have that traction. So just start with the right foot forward, the left foot back. Okay. Right foot forward, left foot back. And this actually is going to play with your balance a little bit. So we want to get on the inner foot to access the inner spine, okay? And working with your feet, it's going to impact your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, your neck, everything else. So press through the mounds of the big toes and the inner heels. And you want to find this extension, this lengthening through your spine, through your entire body by reaching through those points. Press through the mounds of the big toes, press through the inner heels. And then we're going to open the sacrum, the lower back, by opening the backs of the thighs. So open the back of the thigh. The outer hip rolls towards the front of the thigh, towards the inner groin. The inner groin rolls towards the back of the thigh. The back of the thigh rolls to the outer hip. So you have the inner points of the feet pressing to access the inner spine. The backs of the thighs opening. So those groins are releasing back. And then our outer hips rolling towards our inner groins. So once we get that inner roll, we still want to access those the inner feet, the inner points of the feet. And now you want to extend that through your whole pose. If you stay where you are, I just want to show a side angle so you can see. So extend that length through the whole pose. So your legs are growing longer, 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 longer. The front of the thigh is reaching to the back of the thigh. Spread the toes wide, all 10 toes wide. And that spreading of the toes is going to spread and open the knee joint. Remember, we want that buoyancy in the knee joint. Good. So now you're just getting more and more subtle, more and more in tune with your alignment. So front foot, back foot, equal weight. And the more that you can find the pressure in the mounds of the big toes and the inner heels, the more length and extension you're going to find in your spine. Ooh, balance is hard. Both feet are facing forward. Both feet are facing forward. Hands on your hips. So we want to open up the front pelvis. So lift your heart, your sternum upwards and forwards. Upwards and forwards. Lift. Inner shoulder rolling down the back, chasing towards your glutes. Glutes chasing towards your heels. And then find that length and extension. Use your breath, lengthen the spine. You have at least 2 more inches in your spine, at least, between every single vertebra. And then that center heart lifting upwards and forwards. Lift, 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 lift. And again, those inner groins rolling back towards the wall behind you. Back thighs opening. Woo! Once you really get in that alignment, that balance is hard. Open the backs of the thighs. Contract the muscle to the bone in your legs and your thighs. Press, press with your feet to lift. Press with your feet to lengthen. And again, reach through the top center of the head. And go ahead and take the arms forward, reaching through those fingertips, arms reaching straight ahead. Good, stay in the pose. Stay in the pose. Arms reaching forward. Inner shoulder rolling down the back. And remember that jaw is softening. So this is actually really toning and flexing the feet, working those fast twitch muscles, building those arches. And there's a lot of coordination happening between the feet, between the inner knees, the inner groins, the outer hips, the backs of the thighs opening to find that length in the lower back. And so it's subtle shifts, but it's creating massive change throughout the body. And then square that chest. So the right and left chest are even, equal. Again, soften the jaw, but find that contraction in your legs. And then reach through your fingertips, reach through your toe tips. And also work on squaring this pelvis. So that right pelvic crest and left pelvic crest are level and even. And soften the breath, soften the brain. And we're also, as we work on this leveling of the pelvis, we're working on the leveling of the sacrum. So there's the front pelvis, and then there's the back pelvis, which is the sacrum. And there we have those SI joints. If you need to hold on to a wall for balance, hold on to a chair for balance, whatever you need. But we have that push and pull and play happening in your sacrum and that SI joint in the back. And again, we're restoring that elasticity through that pliability of your feet. Now engage the muscle to your bone in your arms. So the underarm is reaching, expanding, lengthening through the fingers and contracting to the bone. Woo! This one is so good for restoring that elasticity all the way through the body because of that balance factor. Again, soften the jaw and reach through the top of the head. Press through the mounds of the big toes, and you're going to start finding more and more and more space. And then find a place on the floor that you can stare at and keep your gaze at that place to help you with the balance, to help you with that focus and concentration. Good, and then exhale, press your palms flat as if you were pressing into the wall in front of you. And reach through all 10 fingers equally. Press through the thumbs, pointer, middle, ring, pinky finger. And woo, see if you can get those hands level. Inner shoulder rolling down the back. And if balance is tricky today, you can always do this actually against the wall with your hands pressing into a wall. But again, we're holding this because We want to break up any fascia to restore that elasticity in the legs. Woo. And so those little inner micro movements are going to help break up that fascia to restore the natural mobility throughout the body. And then exhale, feet together. This time, right foot forward, left foot back. And the reason that the balance is so hard is because your feet are still only about hips width apart between that front foot and that back foot. Ooh. Toes are pointing forward. Again, hold onto a wall or a chair if you need. And now release that right glute into the right heel. So just find your balance, extend all the toes wide, press through the mound of the big toe and the inner heel, and engage the front of the knee to the back of the knee. Remember, there's no hyperextension. It's just a contracting of the muscles. Whoa. And if you were to look, you would want this kneecaps, the tissue, the skin, lifting, engaging. You want the kneecap lifted and engaged. So toes pointing forward, mounds of big toes pressing, inner heels pressing. Square the hips. Can you get the front pelvis aligned? Can you get the back pelvis aligned? Can you lengthen equally through your side waists? And can you spread the bottom of your feet wider? And again, the kneecaps are lifting, engaging the muscle to the bone. Front of the thigh is reaching to the back of the thigh. Mounds of the big toes pressing. If it helps with balance, you can bring your palms to the center, elbows weighted. Now open up the backs of the thighs. Roll those outer hips towards the inner groins releasing towards the backs of the legs. And then equal pressure in your feet. Front foot pressing, back foot descending. And as you extend your legs longer, your spine grows longer. Jaw soft. Throat soft. Center forehead soft. Legs contracting strong. Good, and then square your belly button with your center heart, your center chest, lifting upwards and forwards. And again, we want those little micro twitches in the body with that balance working. You can see the tendons developing in your ankles and your feet, right? This is so important. And that translates ankle, knee, hips, all the way up. And again, it's going to help break up any fascia that's stuck. And we want to release that fascia so that we can get the circulation to our tissues, so we can use our muscles, that they're all working together. Glutes are chasing towards the back heels. Front pelvis is opening. Find that lift. Center sternum lifting upwards and forwards. And top shoulders rolling down and back. Good. And keep engaging the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. Tailbone descending straight down. And you'll find between the coordination of all of these points, that spine is starting to find more and more intelligence. Inhale the arms up. Palms are just facing each other. Trying to bring those arms behind the ears. Lifting that chest, lifting the chest, lifting the chest, lifting the upper body away from the lower body. Grounding the glutes, grounding the tailbone. Smooth, steady breathing. Try and get your face parallel, your two eyes parallel with the wall in front of you. Smooth breathing. So there's a strength, there's an expansion, but there's also a softening. And then exhale, hands, palms flat like you're pressing in a wall in front of you. Take the inner shoulder down and back. Soften the jaw. Engage the muscle to the bones and the arms. Good. And then exhale, release. Okay, perfect. I'm going to give us another couple of options. So TC, and those of you that are doing restorative, your next position, if you have a bolster, a couple of blankets, you can do this this fold where you have your blankets in this position, which is your traditional shoulder balance, and then you fold it in half again. So now you have a long blanket. And with your props, you do want to just keep your yoga blankets just specific for yoga, because you don't want them to have a bunch of bulk in them and bumps in them. You want them to be smooth. So grab blankets or a bolster, and you're going to put the bolster on your right hip, and then your feet. Bottom foot is the right foot, left foot is the top foot, and the left foot goes in the actual arch. And then you're going to find your twist. So that right hip is on the bolster, and hands go on either side. Exhale, release, and twist. Head goes down, head goes either position. And you're going to do 5 to 10 minutes on each side. Okay. So then when you switch sides, you just switch the rotation. Like, I love that pose so much. It's so good. Okay, so if you're doing restorative, stick with that. Otherwise, grab a strap. Okay. And it will be nice to actually have a bolster as well for this one. We have a strap. We're going to lie flat on our backs. And you're going to take that strap and place it across the mounds of the big toes, taking the legs straight up. Okay, so across the mounds of the toes, the bottom of the feet, legs come straight up. Some of us will have bent legs, that's okay. I like to actually wrap the strap around my wrists and then keep the arms straight. And then the shoulders and the head are going to come to the floor. But starting here, we're going to work on softening and relaxing the belly. You're going to have your bolster ready for you because we will come over to the side. But to start, make sure you can see. over here. And your feet are flat as though you're walking on the ceiling. And then we're softening the belly to the spine. Relax your inner organs, relax that jaw. Spread the feet wide, the mounds of the big toes pressing. And again, the front of the knee is reaching to the back of the knee. It's not a hyperextension. It's the front knee creating a relationship, an awareness to the back knee. And then we're opening the backs of the thighs again. So the inner groin is releasing towards the back thigh. The outer hip is rolling towards the front thigh. Outer hip rolling towards the front thigh. Inner groin releasing towards the back thigh. And then you just want to find that even balance on the back of your head, equal pressure on the back of your head. Equal pressure on your right shoulder and your left shoulder. And this gets really subtle, but if you notice that you have one shoulder that's heavier weighted on one side, lift that side up towards the ceiling. So if your left shoulder presses more, lift that left shoulder up towards the ceiling. And that's going to shift everything throughout the whole body. And then the very southern tip of your scapula is reaching towards the ceiling. So inner shoulder is reaching down the spine. Southern tip of the scapula is reaching towards the ceiling. You're getting an external rotation of your arms, specifically the upper arm. Jaw soft, belly soft. We're going to work our inner spine muscles. We're going to release the grip in the belly. Now again, press through the mounds, the big toes and the inner heels, and spread your feet wide. And imagine that your legs are growing longer. You're extending through the joints, lengthening through the joints. Now let's go to the back of the pelvis. We want equal weight on the right side and the left side. And again, what we think is balance is not usually balance. It's just what we're used to. So let your legs come slightly over to the left by an inch or two, and then feel that weight in the left side of your sacrum. And then allow your feet to come over to the right by an inch or two, and feel that weight on the right side of your sacrum. And then try and come back to center. So I naturally have more weight in the right side of my sacrum. That is what my body falls back to. So I'm going to reach that right side of the sacrum towards the ceiling and draw my feet ever so slightly to the left to get the left side of the sacrum weighted. So we're going to work asymmetrically to find symmetry. So I'm holding it with my legs slightly over to the left to get that weight in the left side of my sacrum to retrain my body into balance. So for you, come to center. It might be like neon sign obvious, or it might be really subtle. But move your feet to either direction to get the weight into the side of the sacrum that normally doesn't have weight or doesn't have as much weight. And hold and build. And we need to really hold this to repattern. So it will literally start to shift the muscles, the organs, the the alignment of the bones. But in order to repattern, we're going to have to hold this position. And your navel is relaxing towards your spine. Again, the jaw is soft. The feet are flat as though you're walking on the ceiling. It's okay if your knees are bent. It's okay. Again, just keep working on the balance of the sacrum, the symmetry of the sacrum. Front of the knee, releasing to the back of the knee. Again, building that relationship to the front body and the back body. And then come back to center, where your center toes are aligned with your center knees, aligned with your center pelvis, aligned with your center chest. And just notice if you still have weight on one side or the other. Good. And now we're going to draw both straps into the right hand, and we're going to grab that bolster and have it right by our side. You can use a chair, you can use a bolster, you can use pillows. I'm going to grab both straps in that right hand. I'm going to drop that right elbow straight down, and I'm going to reach the feet up towards the ear. So the tendency is to just drop the legs to the side. You want to reach those feet up, those ankles up towards the ear. And now we're in a deep twist. So again, we are working towards getting those legs straight if you can. If not, don't worry about it. You want to release the left shoulder towards the floor. So your legs are towards your right ear. And you want to release that left shoulder. Jaw is softening. Again, engage the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. The front of the knee to the back of the knee. Release the inner groin, open the backs of the thighs. And exhale and twist your belly button towards the left. Lengthen the back of the neck. Belly button is twisting towards the left and releasing towards the spine. And then keep lengthening the spine, keep lengthening the back of the neck. Reach through the crown of the head. And engage those legs strong, contracting the muscle to the bone. Your legs are like one strong pillar. And you want to use that breath and breathe through your rib cage, breathe through your spine. You can use your head and look towards your left shoulder or look straight up towards the ceiling. And again, you're softening in the belly, softening in the organs, but working those legs really strong. Smooth breathing through your nose. Again, it's these longer timings that the body starts to reset the fibers, the tissue. the way the muscle adheres to the bone. And again, those organs start to go home to their original place. And the hard part is actually in coming out. We're going to exhale and try and keep the belly soft. And exhale to bring the legs up. So inhale deep. Exhale. You might have to bend the knees. We're trying to keep that belly soft. Good. And now we just want to bring the bolster to the other side. Again, it can be a chair, it can be blankets, it can be whatever you've got. So strap the bottom of the feet, external rotation of the arms. Come back to center to neutral. Again, see which side of the sacrum has more weight. Does the right side? Does the left side? Maybe something has shifted since doing one side. And then we're going to exhale, take the strap in the left hand, draw that left elbow to the floor, and then those feet, the ankles are coming up towards the left ear. You can hold on to the strap close to the feet. And then that right shoulder is reaching down towards the floor. Be staring straight up at the ceiling. And again, you want to spread wide across the bottom of the feet. Draw the front of the knee to the back of the knee, the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. Release the groins, release and open the backs of the thighs. Extend through the toe tips. Soften the belly, soften the navel. Soften the throat, soften the face. And you want to twist your belly button towards the right. Again, releasing that right shoulder towards the floor. Breathing through the nose, lengthening the legs longer. Spreading the toes wider. Again, softening the face and the throat. Lengthen the back of the neck. Engage the navel to the spine. Lengthen and extend and reach. Reach through the crown of the head. Reach through the fingertips. And how much awareness can you bring from the bottom of the feet to the top of your head and everything in between? And you can feel the broadening, the widening across the chest. Expand. Spread the collarbones wide. Continue to release that right shoulder down to the floor. And then really breathe into your rib cage. So breathe into your back rib cage, your side waist. Engage the front of the thigh to the back of the thigh. And smooth, deep rhythmic breathing through your nose. Good. And muscles that you don't normally use will start to fire. They'll start to turn on, they'll start to activate. And then muscles that are always turned on that we're overusing will start to soften. And it's when we find those underused muscles that we start to find that balance and that true strength. Again, spread wide across the heart, across the chest. Release that right shoulder. And then we're going to exhale to bring those legs up. We're going to try and keep the belly soft. Inhale deep. Exhale the legs up. Hold on to those straps on the right and the left. Feet flat like you're walking on the ceiling. And just notice if your pelvis feels more balanced, more in true center. Again, front of the knee is reaching to the back of the knee. Reestablish that relationship. Extend the legs longer, making spaciousness. And then align your center belly button with your center chest, with the center top of the head, with the center ankles, and extend, lengthen through your legs, lengthen through the top of your head. Find that external rotation of your arms. Again, equal balance in your shoulders, equal pressure in your shoulders, the back of the head, and the pelvis. And again, if you still feel weighted on one side of the body more than the other, lift that side up towards the ceiling. We're toning those legs stronger, muscle to the bone. Really finding that activation and that engagement. Again, backs of the thighs opening, inner groin releasing. Jaw softening, center brow softening. And just find that length and extension through your spine and through your legs. And again, remember, we're toning, we're retraining, recalibrating. Moving the body out of survival, out of protection mechanisms, into softness, into harmony, into balance, into strength. Exhale, bend the knees, hug the knees towards the chest. Mounds of your big toes pressing, inner heels releasing. Just allow your spine to open, your jaw to soften. Relax those side temples. Imagine that they're opening like horse's eyes. And pretend that your feet are flat like you're walking on the floor or walking on the wall. And engaging those feet, engaging those ankles, it's going to build the side calf muscle, build the joint. And then we're going to exhale again and release, reaching those knees towards the right ear or towards that right shoulder. Let your left arm be long. Open your chest. Square your wrists like a T. So align your left wrist and your right wrist. Again, continue to work the bottom of the feet, the mounds of the big toes pressing. Inhale, lengthen through the top of your head. Exhale, twist deeper. And release the inner shoulder down the back. Lengthen through the top head. Release the inner shoulder down. Release the glutes away from the ears, away from the head. Inhale, breathe wide. Broaden your chest wide. Broaden your chest towards your fingertips. And again, engage the muscle to the bone in your arms. Engage your feet. And just continue to spread wide across your back. Reaching through those fingertips, find more length and more width. And then we're going to exhale, bring those knees to center. Clasp your knees at your chest. Hold that center. Again, find that balance on your right shoulder, your left shoulder. It could be really subtle or really loud, but if one shoulder is more weighted, draw that shoulder up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, release those knees towards your left shoulder. Arms out like a T, spreading wide. Align the left wrist with the left shoulder, with the right shoulder, with the right wrist. Open the palms, spread the fingers wide. Soften the navel to the spine. And let the belly button twist towards the right. Continue drawing that right shoulder towards the floor. And open your whole back body, open your spine through your breath, extending and lengthening in all directions. Reach through your inner sit bones. Engage the muscle to the bones in the arms. Spread the bottoms of the feet. Inhale and fill your lower back rib cage. Release the glutes away from the head. Lengthen the back of the neck. Find spaciousness in the spine. And continue reaching through those fingertips. Inhale deep. Find more expansion. Exhale, twist deeper. Inhale, lengthen. Expand. Exhale, twist deeper. Release that navel towards the right. Release the right shoulder towards the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist deeper. Try and get all of your fingers touching the floor, all the fingernails. Inhale, broaden. Broaden wide across the ribs, broaden across the feet, broaden across the hands. Exhale, twist deeper. Good. Next inhalation, bring your knees up. Exhale back to center. And again, breathe into all those areas that we don't always access, that we don't always breathe into. Breathe into the lower rib cage, the back rib cage. Breathe across the kidney band, the adrenals. Breathe across the back of the heart. the back shoulders. Breathe across the back of the brain. Spread those feet wide. Extend and release through your inner ankle. And then exhale, roll on out of the pose. And you're just going to come to the child's pose. So knees spread wide, toes together. Lengthen, reach, and put your center forehead on the floor. Remove your glasses. Lengthen, expand, extend in that pose. Reach through the fingertips, reach through the toe tips. And go ahead and press your hands down, bring your elbows off of the floor, and release your armpits to the floor. Navel to the spine. Press the palms, extend through the toe tips. Through the pressure of the palms, find more length in your side waist. Navel is reaching towards your spine. Inhale, find more length. Exhale, contract and engage your muscles. Inhale, find more length, more broadening, extension, expansion. Exhale, release the navel to the spine. And find more space in your neck and shoulders through the pressure in your hands. Good. Exhale, release. Press yourself upwards. Okay, we are just at the top of the hour. Go ahead, come to seated. Hands to the heart, elbows releasing to the floor. Lift your chest with the pressure of your thumbs. Close the eyes, release the chin to the heart. And lengthen through that crown of the head. Thank you for being here. Thanks for practicing today. Thanks for the teachers before us, the lineage. Yay, I hope everyone has a beautiful rest of your day. Yay. And if you have any specific takeaways you want to share, any gems, go ahead. You gotta hop, I get it.
I have a lot, not too much, but it might take me a minute. So I'm not sure if I would have been able to do this like in the last 2 days because the pain has been really bad, but it actually felt good to stretch. Um, and before I messaged you, I was literally like, I don't know if my mind goes blank when I'm in that type of pain because I can't never remember the poses that help my lower back. And then you messaged me about the restorative poses. But do you think if I'm able to persevere and get in these poses, because the pain is like a burning, sharp, and throbbing. And if I'm honest, a lot of times I find myself in the floor anyway. So do you think if I can hold myself in these poses that the pain will eventually go away. And another thing I noticed, like I do think about you because my breathing gets shallow. And I try to focus on my breathing, but it just doesn't seem to help. But again, I don't know if I'm panicking because the pain is so bad or what. But like, do you have any suggestions as to like how I can kind of get through the pain when it's like that bad?
Yeah, I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. Pain is so hard. I had chronic pain for 15 years, so I fully get it. I really get it. And that burning, that might be more nerve pain, right? The sharp pain, that could be a lot of different things, but it could be more injury, old injury. So if you're just able to do the subtlest things, like if you're able to do this forward bend that we just did, this helps the body to reset, the brain to reset, right? So, and you're just working as subtle as possible, but it's with equal pressure. So sometimes you're just relaxed doing nothing, but if you can be in this pose, and then other times you're going to work more active. So if you can put the right pressure in the hand, left pressure in the hand, right? And then if you can do the simple ones that we did with the knees hugged, and then just working your feet actively.
That's the one I kind of do when I'm in the floor. I kind of have to rock back and forth or hold my knees together. So like, but I can never really think of anything else to do besides that. But I'm a lot of time I'm in the floor anyway. So
And then twisting the knees to the shoulder. But it's
okay.
more of you don't want it to, you want support, If you're gripped up, use some blankets,
Okay.
you know, legs at the wall. So it's more like when I had really bad pain and like after my car accident, I couldn't do anything because I broke like 16 bones. I literally did yoga laying flat.
Okay.
Looked like I was doing nothing, but you're doing all of those same points that we would do in your standing poses, but you're just doing it lying flat or in those other positions.
And that's what I was thinking about because like I actually felt the stretch and it feels good. But again, I'm in a lot less pain than the last 2 days. So I don't even know if I would have been able to do those
Mhm.
being the pain what I was in. But so you think that if I can just hold myself in those particular poses, it'll kind of ease up after a while. And with my breathing, because I know my breathing does get shallow again. I don't know if my mind just kind of just is erratic because the pain is so bad and I can't really think about anything. But yeah, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah, it's just a result of the pain. But if you can even just lay flat on your back, we'll do this next time. I wanted to get to it today, but equal laying flat on your back, pressure in your right wrist, pressure in your left wrist, pressure in your right heel, pressure in your left heel,
With
pressure.
your knees bent.
Just laying flat. Well, you
Oh,
can do
flat, flat. You did say flat. Okay, 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 okay.
knees bent if your low back needs it, or you can do legs straight.
Hmm.
But you're just literally working 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point back of the head, as many points as you can. But
Okay,
that's going to start to bring stability. And it
okay,
seems and sounds so simple, but it's profound.
okay. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, of
Thank you for the time. I know I took a couple extra minutes, but thank you.
course.
And my heart goes out to you, TC, being in pain
Thank you
like
so much.
that. I will continue to pray for you. But then I look at Coach Rita and the 15 years of, hopefully yours won't be that long, but and then I see a testimony in her. So just keep the faith, keep
Thank
doing
you.
what you're doing. I applaud you for,
Thank you.
for working through the pain. That's something else.
And that's what I wanted to say, Coach Rita, too. Like, I feel like if I didn't come today or if I didn't try to persevere through some of it and I try to work my lower body again, I would just be restarting. So I feel like if I can get some assistance and try to work through it a little bit at a time, I can begin. Like, I won't be as nervous to do it because I'm kind of nervous to work on my legs again because it was just that bad. But I feel like if I could just get a little bit of an assistance and just persevere through some of the pain, that it'll continue to strengthen and I won't be in as much over time. So that's what I was thinking about as well.
Slow, 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 teeny tiny, just poco poco, little by little. We always overdo, usually as humans. We overdo and then we're back, and then we overdo and then we're back. So just teeny tiny, even if it's barely any movement. It's so much of what we do in the alignment is inner movement, inner perception. It's not seen externally, but it's happening internally. So it's that subtlety.
And I agree
Yeah.
with Karen, like you just look so amazing for you to even have to have an accident like that. I feel, oh gosh, you look so amazing. And
Yeah.
what you do for us is just so amazing. But your body, you can never tell that you went through anything like that.
That's
Right?
right. That's
Crazy.
a blessing.
Blessing. Nutrition and alignment. But yeah, the
Hmm. Right.
body.
Yeah. But bite-sized palatable goals, TC. Just continue. Even if it's just a needlepoint move, it's a move. And you know, if Iyengar alignment hadn't taught me anything, it has taught me that we are making progress, even though it seems like it's just a teeny tiny bit making progress just by being here.
I do
Um,
agree because when I first started with Uplift, I didn't think I was gonna make it through the first day. And it
that
just seemed
part,
like, like over time it got a little easier. Of course, you challenge us, Coach Rita, but since that first day of Uplift, I was like, oh God, I'm not gonna ever make it through this again. But I love it. I love this class.
as you
So
get stronger and stronger.
mhm.
This was a rough class. It truly, truly was. Especially that balancing. I need a lot more of that. Um, okay, whatever way we were first in the first time, I was like, oh man, this is just not working very well. Okay, then I turned around to the other side and I started focusing more on your instructions and the breathing, and all that became music to the practice where I was actually able to balance myself. So I just have to focus more on your beautiful instruction and the breathing. And then I guess it's taking my mind off of, I don't know what it's taking my mind off of. All I know is I just started focusing and I was able to balance. I was going to do that more. I guess I don't know, my mind's going everywhere, maybe like TC was saying. And once I start just honing in on all your instructions and the breathing, and then I'm like, okay, I can do this little by little, little by little. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your patience.
Oh, thanks for
Thank
bringing
you.
that up, Karen. It's so true. The pose forces us to focus the mind, which brings the balance. So it's yeah, the same in life. So we just got to keep practicing it and notice, even in life, if we don't have that focus, we get off balance, right? So let's just really hone
Mm,
points.
yes, yes. So true, so true. Thank you.
Yay. I love you all. Thanks for
Love
practicing
you more.
today.
Thank you. You'll have a blessed one. See you, Coach
Thank you.
Rita.
Bye.
Thank
See
you.
you, Melody. See you, TC.
Melanie,
Bye,
see you
everybody.
tomorrow. See you,
Love
Coach
you
Rita.
guys. Bye
Bye.
Love you
bye.
all.
Here
You.
now. Bye bye.